Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, I hope you're keeping safe. I hope you're doing well. I hope everything's good at your end. A shout out to my brother David Sanchez, who messaged me yesterday saying, Imran, I normally agree with all your points, but I disagree with you on this one. And I love that. I love that. I love that because that's the whole point of when I put out an opinion. I don't expect you to agree with me all the time. Sometimes you're going to disagree and you're going to have a different opinion on something, which is perfectly fine. And that's what we call a healthy debate. David, I think I'm going to go live today, most likely. If you want to come on and we can have a discussion about this as well. You know, I love to talk to you guys. I love to have a chat with a lot of you because I feel like a lot of you are very educated, great boxing fans. And you know, there's no fanboy in there with a lot of you. You talk boxing, you talk sense. But David, I'm going to disagree with you. You say that, Imran, you're wrong on this one because Demetrius Andrade will get blown away by David Benavidez because Benavidez is so underrated at 168 pounds. Benavidez is a monster. He'll walk through Andrade and beat him up and knock him out. I think that's what you said. You may be right, brother. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I was just giving my opinion. And I'll tell you why I gave my opinion and why I see it that way. A lot of you say about Demetrius Andrade, who has he fought? What's to say that Andrade is a great fighter? He's not fought anybody. I want to ask you the same question. Who has David Benavidez fought? Who has David Benavidez fought? Who has he fought? Who has he fought that would beat Andrade? Or who has he fought that you could consider world class? You know, Darrell, way past his best Darrell. You know, he's fought nobody. He's fought absolute nobody. So when you talk about Demetrius Andrade, right, and you talk about he's not fought nobody, it applies with David Benavidez, and even more so because I actually think Andrade's resume is better than Benavidez's resume. Yes, it might all be at a lower weight class, but as I pointed out to you, that there's a lot of weaknesses in David Benavidez's game, David. There's a lot of weaknesses in his game. I'm telling you, you haven't seen it because of the level of competition. I've told you this many times before. That when guys are fighting lower level competition, they look good. As soon as they step up at one level, they don't look as any good anymore. And David stepping up to fight someone like Canelo, who would absolutely obliterate David. I'm telling you, guys, I'm telling you, Canelo would absolutely obliterate David Benavidez. I'm telling you, you guys don't listen. You guys aren't listening to me. I'm telling you, there's too many flaws in Benavidez's game. There's too many flaws in Benavidez's game. You might not see it now. You might not see it now, but you'll see it if he fights Canelo. And you'll also see if he fights Andrade. And I'm not even saying Andrade beats him. I'm saying that I would pick Andrade to win that fight. However, if Benavidez beats Andrade, I'd become more of a fan because that would be by far his best win on his resume. And listen, if Andrade beats Benavidez, it'll be his best win as well. Especially the fact that Andrade would be moving up as well. But the point I'm trying to make to you is this. That let's not make out, because you said David Benavidez is a monster at 168. Let's not make out like David Benavidez is a monster. He's not. He's not proven to be a monster because he hasn't fought anyone of any substance to be called a monster. A monster is Golovkin, who fought everybody, and you could tell that that guy was a monster. David, unfortunately, hasn't fought anybody where I can call him a monster in the super middleweight division. I can't. He hasn't fought Callum Smith. He hasn't fought Billy Joe. He hasn't fought Canelo. He hasn't fought Caleb Plant. He hasn't fought David Morrell. He hasn't fought anybody that we can say that has world-class pedigree at super middleweight. He hasn't fought anybody. He hasn't fought anybody at 175 either. You know, so until he steps in the ring with somebody credible, in somebody that I believe is a legitimate threat to him, I'm not going to be that high on him. The same way I'm not that high on Andrade. Because even though I think Andrade's fought better, I still don't think he's fought world-class opponents. Hence why I think that the Andrade Benavidez fight is a 50-50 fight. Now, Andrade is a very good boxer. He's got very good feet, something that David Benavidez doesn't have. David Benavidez very flat-footed. He has very fast hands, Benavidez. But the problem is if you have slow feet, fast hands are no good. If you have slow feet, I'll tell you this again. If you have slow feet, fast hands are no good. Because Andrade is very nimble. The only thing is with Andrade in that fight is we've seen Andrade slow down. Can Andrade do that for 12 rounds against someone like Benavidez who's going to bring the pressure, bring the heat? Will he slow down and win Benavidez eventually get to him? Possibly. That's a possibility. But Andrade will outbox David Benavidez. There's no question about that. Andrade will outbox David Benavidez. I can promise you that. It's just whether David Benavidez can catch up to him, wear him down and stop him. But like I said to you, David Benavidez isn't the biggest puncher. David Benavidez hasn't got the best feet in the world. These are weaknesses that I clearly see in Benavidez. David Benavidez is easy to hit. These are clear flaws that anyone can see in Benavidez's game. Anyone can see these flaws in Benavidez's game. These are serious flaws, David. These are serious flaws, David Sanchez. If he doesn't correct these flaws as he improves, he will get banged out by somebody that's a more of an elite fighter at that weight. I'm telling you. At light heavyweight, he stands no chance. That's why he keeps boiling down to 168, because he knows that the big punchers over there, they'll do some serious damage. That's why he keeps boiling down to 168. There's a reason. We all know that Benavidez should be at 175. He's a big guy. Because he knows those guys over there with his defense, the size and strength and power of those guys at 175 may be too much for him. Listen, Benavidez is a good fighter, but he's not a great fighter. He's not proven that yet. He's got to prove himself against the very best. I'm not impressed by him beating Kyrone Davis or him beating Darrell, an over-the-hill Darrell. I'm not impressed by him beating that guy from the Mayweather boxing who was it that he fought from the Mayweather Boxing Club? Jalen Love. I'm not impressed by that. I need to see him step up against what we call the top super middleweights. And if he does that to them, if he did what he did to Jalen Love, to Caleb Plant or Andrade or Canelo, then I'd say, okay, fair enough. I've got to stand up and give him his credit, give him his due. But like I said, of what he's faced so far, I can't really make much judgment out of that, because he's not really been facing anybody that really possessed or threatened him in any way. So what I'm saying to you, that I think some of you guys are getting carried away with some of his performances against very lower tier opposition, and you seem to think that means he's going to be a problem for some of the, I don't know. He may be the goods. He may not be. How many times have we seen fighters that when they eventually step up, they don't quite hit the mark? Listen, maybe Benavidez is an exception. Maybe Benavidez steps up and proves me wrong, proves all of us wrong. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying that he can't beat Andrade. He may beat Andrade. But I'm just saying, going off what I've seen so far, I don't know, because I haven't been that impressed in some of his fights. I don't think he has the power. I think he has very fast hands, yes, but I think he's slower. I think his feet are quite slow, and I think his defense is not very good either. So there's a lot of things there that a top fighter, an elite fighter at the elite super middleweight, not necessarily an elite fighter. Canelo's an elite fighter. There's a difference between an elite fighter and an elite guy in the division. You see, you could be an elite guy in your division, but you might not be an elite fighter. So David Benavidez right now, when he fights an elite fighter at 168 pounds, that's when we'll find out about the flaws and whether David Benavidez is the goods. Until he steps up and fights some of the top guys, it's going to be hard for us to judge. Maybe he's too strong for Andrade. Maybe he's too big and strong. Maybe he's not. Maybe he gets outboxed. But these are things that we're going to have to see in the flesh. We're going to have to see this play out, because, like I said, I don't think the Andrade fight is as easy as what some of you guys think. I think Andrade is going to be a serious problem for him. No joke. I think Andrade is a serious problem. coming on to a different topic, I want to talk about Keith Thurman and Mario Barrios, who are going to be fighting this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Keith Thurman's return. I'm looking forward to how Keith Thurman looks against Mario Barrios in that fight. I think it's going to be a great one. I think it's going to be a great fight. I'm hoping for some good action. It's going to be interesting to me. It's going to be interesting to see how Keith Thurman looks. If Keith Thurman's the old Keith Thurman, he should get a win here. But I'm not sure, you know. I'm not sure because I don't know what Keith Thurman's got left. He fought Manny Pacquiao and was beaten by Manny Pacquiao, who was quite old at that point. And in his fight previous to that, he almost got stopped to Josecito Lopez. Now he's taken almost 2.5 years out again. And now he's going to fight Mario Barrios. I just don't know how he's going to look, to be brutally honest with you. And I won't be surprised if we see Keith Thurman take a loss here, if I'm brutally honest with you. I won't be surprised if we see Keith Thurman, you know, lose this one. Because Barrios showed me quite a bit in the Gervonta Davis fight. If Keith Thurman isn't able to hurt Barrios, I think this fight could get quite ugly for Keith Thurman. I'm being serious. If Keith Thurman isn't able to get Barrios out of there, I think this could get very ugly. Because like I said, I just don't know what Keith Thurman's got left. Keith Thurman could be shot to bits. Like I said, his fight against Josecito Lopez, when he took such long time off, he almost got beat in that fight. And Barrios is like a similar kind of opponent. He's tall, he's big. He's not a big guy. You know, Thurman should be the bigger man, and he should have the, you know, he's definitely got the harder punch at that, especially at welterweight, where Barrios, I don't think, he's ever fought at welterweight. So Thurman is definitely an explosive puncher. But again, all these things, are they going to be there? The power is the last thing to leave. But unfortunately, I just don't know what Keith Thurman's got left. And if he's not able to get Barrios out of there, and Barrios is putting a lot of pressure on him, I wouldn't be surprised if Keith Thurman folds. Just because he's only had one loss in his career, which there's there's no shame in that. But the problem is if you look at Keith Thurman's resume, he hasn't really fought anybody apart from Porter, Garcia, and Manny Pacquiao. Like Lopez, I know he almost lost the Lopez fight, and that Lopez at the time when he fought him wasn't considered a top tier welterweight, and he almost lost that fight. So when you look at Keith Thurman's resume, he's not done a lot. His resume is not that great. He hasn't really got a lot of credible names on his resume. You know, like someone like Khan, for example, who has got so many good fighters on his resume. Keith Thurman hasn't got that. And I personally think if Keith Thurman carries on, he will take a lot of losses now. Because, like I said, I don't even know if he beats Barrios. And if he gets beat by Barrios, then that's probably him done. I just don't know whether Keith Thurman's got the hunger, the motivation anymore, because he made a lot of money, you know. His fight with Porter, Garcia, Pacquiao, they must have paid well. You know, this is a pay-per-view fight. I think he's looking for one more big payday. And then you probably won't see Keith Thurman in the ring again, if I'm brutally honest. That's just my opinion. I don't think we'll see Keith Thurman, especially if he loses this fight, then he's done. I think if he fight, I think he's looking for this fight and then maybe one big fight against one of the top boys like Crawford. You know, I don't think he should go anywhere near Ennis, because I think Ennis would absolutely obliterate him at this point. I think that would be a crazy fight and one that he would get beat emphatically. So I think he needs to pick and choose his opponents carefully. And I think he should get the win. But again, I don't know, because Keith Thurman may be way past his best. Like I said, he's been out the ring. Like I said, after the Garcia fight, he was out the ring for 2 years, came back and looked poor against Lopez, then lost to Pacquiao. Now he's out for almost 2.5 years again. I'm not expecting a great performance at all, if I'm totally honest with you. If I'm totally honest with you, I'm not expecting a great performance here at all. Just being brutally honest. Leave your thoughts, guys, though. Let me know what you think about this fight. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.